Yo, what's up, guys? It's BK and Sab here at Bet On Us. We are in the thick of it. It is football season, baby, almost playoff season. So, Sab, how you feel, man? You ready for the weekend?
I can't believe it's week 14 in the NFL season. I can't believe it's championship Saturday in college football. It is a good time to be a football fan. Some great
Crazy.
games today. Obviously, good games tomorrow in the NFL. Going to see what that bracket looks like tomorrow after today. It's a fun time, man, for sure. Fun
What do you
time.
think? As we're airing this, which is live, guys. So if you have questions in the chat, fire away. We can BS. We can talk some trash to each other. What do you think of championship week? Does it have so much importance? I guess I don't know the right word.
Yeah.
When we have this expanded playoff, I don't know if it's being overlooked or if guys are hoping to maybe still play for a bye and going all out. What do you think about it?
I think you're right on both accounts. I think it's lost its oomph just a little bit, especially in games like the Big Ten title game. You got number 1 versus number 3, Oregon and Penn State. Both those teams are going to be in the playoff. Yes, they want that bye week though, and but if you don't get that bye week, you get a home game. So it's like you get a home game in the playoffs. It's definitely lost its oomph a little bit though, I think, because when it was only 4 teams, you couldn't I mean, even all season. We talked about this all season. Teams like Georgia, teams like Texas, Oregon, if they lost one game, I mean, no big deal. When it's 4 teams, you lose one game. Holy crap, better not lose another one or you better believe you ain't going to be in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
it's definitely lost a little bit, but it's still you still want to be teams like Oregon in their first year in the Big Ten, team like Texas first year in the SEC. They want that title game. They want that title. They want to know we belong. We're supposed to be here, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's situational for sure.
I know. I'm excited to see how it kind of plays out because it is so new. I mean, college football has gone through like the biggest evolution, maybe in sports in the modern era,
For sure.
between going from the BCS, which everybody knew was a mess for such a long time,
Yeah.
and then saying, all right, let's introduce a playoff, which I think was long awaited. When we got there, it was awesome. But then right after that, we throw in, this crazy transfer portal, the NIL, these guys making millions, and everything happened so quick. And then they were like, screw it, let's go full pro mode and, just make it a 12 team playoff.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm on the fence. Like, I love more and more football, but the fact that it doesn't hit me as like college sports anymore, I'm torn. Like, I don't know what to say right now.
I want to say it's only because it's new, and new isn't always better for the most part. But I think once we get through this college football playoff and we get to the title game, we're going to go, man, that was an amazing ride. I really think everyone's going to love it. And you know what's going to happen. We talked about this the last show. They're going to want to go to 16 next year. They're going to want to do that. It's just, I don't think they should, but they're going to want to do that because it's all about dollars and cents at the end of the day, and more eyes on TVs, more games to watch, more games to be played. So, but I think once we get through the first and second round of this, and we're down to the final four, we go, okay, this was really good, and I'm looking forward to it, man. I've been looking forward to it for weeks because it's anybody's game. It is anybody's game. You could probably say 4 or 5 teams you can say could win it, make a run, maybe even more.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to find out some more today. So again, right now, as we're recording this live, we've got the Arizona State game against Iowa State going on. That one, I took ASU. I think they're running hot. They absolutely clobbered Arizona last week, which I took them to cover. That was a good one. And I think they're going to do it again this week. That was one that I took. I think that they were a double check here. What did we have? It was a 1-point favorite. So this is one of those pick 'em games. I took them -1. They're Scadaboo, if I'm getting that name right. They're running back. I was just saying, this guy's like the modern day Mike Allstott. He is just bouncing off of people left and right.
He is, man.
Right now, I mean, they're looking pretty good. They're up 17-10. So we're going to see how that one plays out. I don't know if you had any dog in that fight.
I didn't. I'm actually right now. I'm just going ahead and tagging some guys that are looking for the live here because it just started to air, I believe, like 2 minutes ago on Facebook. We're good on YouTube. We got some people rolling in and out, but I just wanted to tag some people, make them get in. But no, I didn't have any dog in that one. I do have some games though. Whenever you want to go to it, I do have the SEC and Big Ten. I definitely want to talk about those.
Yeah, let's go to what I think is going to be the best game of the day, and this is the one that I really got excited about and involved with, we could say, is the Texas-Georgia game. So I am pumped about that. I've been riding Texas for a while now, which has paid off. And like I said last week, their defense is crazy. I mean, I think we're in an era that's all about offense, passing, all that stuff that we hear about. But Texas's defense is just like stifling. And I think that that's something Georgia has not really found a real good rhythm this year. Carson Beck has been early in the season. We were like, man, this guy's a stud. And then he just had these games that he looked out of sorts. So I think that's going to be the difference is Texas defense against Georgia, not really the Georgia that we remember from the past few years. I got them at -2.5. I've been very vocal on the show about how I've been getting burnt by half points.
If
Right
only
now, last
there was a co-host of yours that told you how to avoid that
I
for weeks on end, but I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, and it looks like the line on a lot of places it's at -3 or
Uh-huh.
-3.5. The -3.5, definitely stay away from, guys. I'm very happy with mine -2.5. I think Texas could cover that.
-2.5. Okay, well, I do have the same spread at -2.5, +2.5 for Georgia, and all the things you said are valid. Every valid points. Texas, amazing defense. Carson Beck has been inconsistent, but let's not forget. And Georgia's defense has disappeared sometimes against teams like Georgia Tech and other teams like that. But we do have one interesting sample this season. We have a Georgia versus Texas game that happened, and I think there's only one loss on Texas's record this year, and I think it was to Georgia, and it
Mm-hmm.
was a dominating performance from Georgia. What
Fair,
I
fair.
my thing is Georgia plays up to their potential against teams like this. Carson Beck, this is his moment. If he wants to be a top pick, if he wants to be even close to a top pick or even be considered, I'm not saying he's going to go top 5 or top 10 even, but this is it. And I think Georgia is battle tested in the SEC. They had a bad taste in their mouth from last year losing and then not making the playoff. They're going to make the playoff regardless. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
But a win today would solidify it, and I'm going with the Bulldogs on the money line. I think they take Texas down. I think Texas gets a little bit of a. That was the
Wow.
only game Texas looked out of sorts this year was against Georgia, and I don't see a reason for it not to happen again. So I'm taking Georgia outright. No, you can have the 2.5, you can have the 3.5, the 3, whatever it is. I'm taking Georgia on that money line. I think they make a play late. I think we're looking at one of the best SEC title games of all time today, though.
Wow,
That's where I think we're going to be
that's a
headed. I
big
think
call.
this is going to be an
Are we going to
amazing
see
game.
another 8 overtime game?
I hope we don't see that, but
Yeah,
I think
it's
we're
a
going to
little much.
see. Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I
Okay,
think, and I
fair
like
enough.
Georgia though. I like
You know,
Georgia.
that's one of those ones you certainly made a good argument. And, you do have a sample that we can go off of. But, devil's advocate that how hard is it to beat a team twice in the
Yeah,
same season?
true.
Doesn't matter whether we're talking college or NFL. I think Texas can make those adjustments. Like I said, I'm riding their defense. I
Yeah,
think that's what will make the difference. So, yeah, this is one we've decided to go on
we
opposite
finally
paths
go
here.
opposite there. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a friendly co-host bet.
Oh yeah, maybe we can do that for
So
sure.
that's coming up in just a little bit. You got Texas, Georgia. That's an exciting one. And then some of the other ones, I don't have a lot of conviction in any pick here. We got the ACC championship coming up. ACC is who knows. You got SMU and Clemson. Not really excited by either team, to be honest with you.
Right.
And then, of course, we got the Big Ten championship, which a lot of people are saying that's the national championship right there with Penn State, Oregon. Give me your picks there, Sab.
Well, so with the Clemson game, I chose to ignore the ACC because I think it's just it doesn't matter. I think whoever's in, if Clemson's in, yeah, they get the bye. I guess they get the 3 or the 4, whatever it is. But either of those teams getting absolutely blown out in the whenever they play a college football game. So to me, I am not a big fan of the ACC. You have a team like Miami, who's the best team in the ACC in my opinion, but they didn't show it. Obviously, losing to Syracuse, and to me that shows a lot. I know SMU has the best record, I think, but I mean SMU was in a bottom conference before this for a reason, and the ACC has just not been up to standard. I mean, you have teams like Florida State going 2-10 that were projected to be top 10s. So anyway, we got. I think we're gonna look at the Oregon. Hold on, Izzy needs her big barn really quick. So this is live TV, ladies and gentlemen. We need that. There you go, kid. All right.
Yeah, so we're
Anyway,
just kind of skipping SMU
yeah,
Clemson, which is
yeah,
so crazy to me because again, this is one of those ones where you say Clemson
hmm
and you just think of go back 5 years, you're talking a powerhouse.
right,
And you would say, hey, if Clemson's playing SMU, give me Clemson all day long. But now here we are. It's one that is a flip of a coin. I think it's going to be one of those crazy games where a lot of what you would not expect. So we're going to, for all intensive purposes, kind of skip that one and then
yeah.
go to the main event tonight,
Give me
Penn State,
Clemson.
Oregon.
Give me Clemson. There. All right, give me Clemson. But Penn
Okay, there
State,
we go. We
Oregon,
got
yeah.
one, Clemson.
That's the game. Penn State, Oregon. Give me. Look, I think Oregon's been the best team all year. Consistent, obviously. Everybody talks about their schedule. You can only play who you're scheduled against, right? They beat Ohio State in a close game at home. Penn State to me is a little overrated. I think they're that team that plays great defense. But if they got to score with a team like Oregon, I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening. I think
Hmm.
Oregon will start slow and figure it out late second quarter, early third, and I think they'll pull away a little bit. By pulling away, I mean they'll cover the spread.
Okay.
It is -3.5, right? Oregon.
Ooh,
So I'm going to
dangerous.
do my whole thing here. I'm going to buy that half a point down to -3, just in case Penn State tries to come back a little bit and Oregon needs a game-winning field goal or something. So give
Yep.
me Oregon -3. I'm going to do the anti-Brian here and get rid of that half a point and not get burned by it. Hopefully, it won't even come into play. But I like Oregon. I think they win it. I think they take their first ever Big Ten title in their first year in the
Okay.
conference.
Yeah, and mind you guys, I mean Penn State +3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so getting 3 points, you're getting +100 odds.
Mm.
So this is kind of one of those situations you could take the underdog with the spread and still get double your money odds. It's such a tough one. And this is one that honestly I was kind of deferring to Sab. I'm a Penn State fan. I'm pulling for them, but I don't really
Understood.
know. I mean, it's one of those ones where sometimes they haven't shown their best selves. Oregon has been more consistent. Now, one thing that you could look for is Penn State has a good run game. If they lean heavy on their two running backs, they kind of have, a two-headed monster of sorts. They lean heavy on that and just chew clock. All right, chew up the clock and keep, Oregon's offense off the field. I think that that's the best thing Penn State could do,
Yep.
and
Definitely.
then put their defense in a more favorable position. So one of the things that you might want to look at there, if you like Penn State, but you're like, I don't know if they could pull it off, either A, you could grab those 3 points, or you got an over-under of 51 points. I know you, Sab, say always go with the over, right?
Life's too short to bet unders.
This is one of those ones, guys, that if you can, I'm tempted to go with the under there. If you really believe in Penn State's defense, this is maybe where you grab that under 51.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I want to mess with that, but like you said, if they can run the football, keep Oregon's offense off the field, that's going to be the game plan, right? It has to be the game plan. That's Penn State's game plan always: is run the football, play good defense. Usually, should not change today. Should be more so that way. And if they can do that, then they're going to keep it close and they're going to have a chance to win. If they can't do that, if they can't run the football, they're in trouble. And I think that's when they're going to get not blown out, because I don't think it'll be a blowout, but Oregon can win this game by 2 touchdowns because that offense is explosive and they're used to throwing the ball over the field, playing good, So, and Oregon's defense isn't exactly elite, but it's not exactly terrible either. So I mean,
No,
and I think
no,
Oregon's
not at all.
defense is going to be coming in here with a little chip on their shoulder because that's all everybody's talking about is Penn State's defense. It's Oregon's defense saying, "What about us?" So
True.
we'll see what
And
happens. I
Oregon
think,
is one of those teams, I said this last week, that they want to rub it in your face.
yeah,
So if you're saying, no, Oregon's going to be a close one, this and that, if Oregon gets ahead, they're going to want to really get ahead.
oh yeah,
And that's another thing that kind of scares me. So
yeah, and they're going to
I
want to make
guess
a
my
statement.
heart is saying Penn State. My brain just keeps kind of looking at Oregon.
Mm-hmm. Pat says, "Get that kid up and can barely hear you." Yeah, she's a mess. We go live and now she needs all her toys. What are you gonna do?
Yep. Live
Yeah,
shows here, guys.
no,
Live
live
shows.
show, baby. Got 5 people in here chilling.
Anything else in the
What's up, Mark?
in the
College football?
college football on
No,
Saturday?
I think we covered all the good games. Obviously Boise State last night, getting the win. Ashton Genty gonna be close in the Heisman voting. I think Travis Hunter is gonna get it, but that guy's unreal, man. And he's got maybe one or two more games, depending on how they do to try and break that record. So we'll see what happens. Now, do they count that in the playoffs? His rushing yards? I think they might, because college, I think, is just you play it however you're playing. I don't know however many games it is, but it could be. I'm not
I
sure.
don't know. I wish I had an answer on that. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. It would be so skewed now because I mean you're adding more games versus prior
Yeah.
records. You'd see
Right.
records broken everywhere,
Yep.
but I'm not really sure. But yeah, I really like him as a Heisman favorite. The
Yeah.
guy's he's a workhorse, consistent as could be. I know they
Yeah.
always want to find a quarterback, but
It's just so tough to find a guy like if Travis Hunter didn't exist this year, it would be a no brainer, I think. But the
Mhm.
guy plays both sides. He's got, I think, 14 touchdowns. He's got so many interceptions, and I mean, the guy is just unreal. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that in the pro game, but he's going to want to try. But I don't think they're going to let him. But Man, he's a special talent. I think he's the favorite as of now. I haven't
Yeah,
looked at it, but it's going to be close. I think you got to give it to Hunter just because of how unique of a player he is, and you just
true.
don't see that. You're not going to see that for a while. At least a guy that plays at like we've seen guys do it in the past. I mean, Deion
Mhm.
Sanders. Look at Deion Sanders.
Yeah,
But you can honestly, I don't want to say he's better than Dion, but you could say he's played both sides of the ball with more numbers than Dion did. Dion
yeah.
wasn't exactly an offensive explosive player, but he could do it if he had to. But this
I
guy's
think
just catching
one of the
touchdowns like
things
it's
that
a
does
job.
make it tough with both Boise State and Colorado, they're up there, but they're not your classic top 25 teams. They're not playing prime time, top 25 teams like every week. So I think it gives you such a different kind of vantage point where if you take a Colorado, put them up against Penn State or Oregon, you take a Boise State, put them up against one of those guys. I just don't think that you're seeing the stats that you do at a Hunter, and the running back at Boise State. So it does make it a little bit hard, I think, to kind of judge. But yeah, it depends. If you want to go for just classic, who's the best? Give me, with the running back at Boise State, something kind of unique. Charles Woodson like, Deion
Yeah,
Sanders like, even Jabril Peppers, if you remember him.
right. Oh, yeah, of course.
That's where Hunter is something special.
And Mark Fiola Jr. in the house says, "How can someone who excels at an elite level on both sides of the ball not be the best player in college football?" Yeah, exactly. I tend to agree. It's hard to ignore what Genty's doing in
Mhm.
Boise State, running for 200 yards a game. But like I said, if he doesn't exist, if Travis Hunter doesn't exist this year, sure. But unfortunately for Genty, he does, and that's why Hunter's probably going to get it. It's like
Exactly.
Otani when he was pitching. Mark says, "Yeah, exactly. That's a
Yes.
very good analogy. That guy is
Yeah.
unreal too. Yep,
Yeah.
for
Yeah. One of
sure."
the best. So we'll see. What do you think Hunter does in the NFL?
I think he will be a decent slot receiver.
And that's that.
And I think that's pretty much where we're at. I don't want to say he's going to be a bust. I think he's a talented player. They're not going to let him play defense, or he can maybe return kicks to something like that. Maybe like a Tavon Austin type, but better. That's the way I kind of
What
look
do you
at it.
think? I haven't heard so much about like his 40 time. You have any idea where he's
I
at?
that I have no clue on. No, but
Because I
I
think with a guy like that, that's going to be huge for him. I mean, if he rips off some like 4.3 40, you're putting him in the top 10, no doubt about it.
mhm.
He can just do so many different things for you. But if he doesn't, I mean, if he comes out with just kind of moderate 4.5 type speed, I don't think the NFL gets that excited about him.
Yeah.
And so but we'll see. We'll see. And
Pat says
speaking,
I'm Pat Jura says I'm nuts. I don't know what I'm nuts about. He doesn't think he's going to be better. He thinks he's going to be worse. I don't know. I'm way off. He says. I'd love to hear what you think, pal. I don't know how much
yep.
college football you've been watching, but
Yeah, keep on chiming in here.
yeah, please do. But hey, let's talk about Thursday night because the man
That's right.
That Thursday night football game, uh,
Painful. Painful.
it's like that half point thing came into appearance again.
And the reason being is Dan Campbell's the craziest coach that's maybe ever lived.
He is out of his mind. That says
It's
he's
like
going to
that.
be an elite corner. Not to jump from he says he's going to be an elite corner. Travis Hunter. That would be interesting. We'll see.
I don't know about that one.
All
We'll
depends
see.
on the
We'll see.
situation or what team he goes to. If they need, hey, we need an elite corner, do we need an elite receiver? Because you
Yeah,
can
if he's
maybe
on
do.
the Panthers, the guy's playing every position on the field.
Yeah, he's gonna be Bugs Bunny on that one cartoon playing every position. But yeah, go
Yeah.
back to Thursday. Sorry, you were talking about
No,
Thursday.
no, Thursday. It's it takes me back to the Lions Cowboys game last year where Dan Campbell is like, you have the rational decision making you need from a head coach, and then you have the guy just saying like, "F it, I want to do that," and that's Dan Campbell. He's the one that like, yeah, hey, you can kick an extra point and win the game, and he's like, well, why not go for two? I want to go for two because someone said I can't do it.
I
Like
need a
he
point
does
differential. Yeah.
he's playing Madden out there every week, and I
Mm-hmm.
love it. But that one, like where he went, I get it. You go for fourth down, you look at the odds; they are in his favor, so you
Yeah,
can't really argue it.
for sure.
But at the end of the game, you're up, you're on your side of the field, and it's fourth down, and you run the ball like the one to Gibbs where they got him.
Yeah.
That killed me. I'm like, you almost have the game in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're giving the opposing team the ball almost in the red zone.
Literally.
And I mean, those are ones that it's like, I would say right now, I want the Lions as a Super Bowl pick.
Yeah.
But when you play that aggressively, you live by the sword, die by the sword. I think that somewhere in that playoff run, that could be the undoing of these Lions. Is Dan Campbell just doing something that the whole world is like, what the hell did he just go for there? And yeah, if it works out, you look great. But how many times can you think that that's going to pan out?
And it's funny because, the projection is NFC title game against the Eagles, right? They're the two best teams in the NFC.
Sure.
Eagles like to gamble too a lot. They love going
Hmm.
for it on fourth down. So you might have two teams that are just going to out gamble each other. And then we'll really see a game of Madden like when me and you were playing back in like
Yes.
2002 or something, going for a
Yep.
fourth and 20 on our own 10, just going balls to
And
wall.
it's
But it
it's
could be
funny because I
interesting.
think that those two right there. It's funny. We always said the AFC is like where it's at. I like the Lions and Eagles at like 1 and 2 in the
Yeah,
NFL, in my
it's
opinion. But the
it's a good argument.
coaching, I'm not a Sirianni fan by
Mm-mm.
any stretch. I don't think he's an elite level coach. You see where the Eagles can just go on stretches like last year where they don't even look good.
No.
But now they have so much talent that's going to carry them. And then Campbell, I mean, he's one of my favorite coaches. I prefer him to Sirianni, but it's that wild card mentality just kind of scares me with him.
Yeah, and it kind of came back to haunt them last year in the NFC title game, if I'm not mistaken. On a play, they went for it on fourth and didn't get it against the Niners. Wasn't a huge part of the game, but it was turned into a turnover, and I think the Niners ended up scoring off it. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But Packers covering 3.5. The Thursday night
Mm-hmm.
stretch continues. We only missed one over this side of the aisle over here on Bet on Us, and it was the
You took
Ravens
Packers plus three and
plus
a half,
three and a
right?
half. Yes, the half
Yeah,
a
but I
point.
picked the Lions at least. So yeah, I didn't cover, but I at
No.
least picked the winning team.
Right, yeah, you didn't cover. Well, that's congratulations. But my only
Thanks.
loss was the same way. I picked the Ravens, but they didn't cover. But I don't know. Can you see the Facebook questions on your end?
I don't know. I was just kind of pulling that up here.
All right, so I'm gonna just read it off. It's a
Yeah, go
non-football.
ahead. Go ahead, man.
It's a non-football question for you from Mark. He
Okay.
is a Jersey guy himself. We were all from Jersey, and he has a non-sports question. Why the hell do you live in Jersey? LOL. Besides the food, just not sure the draw. I'll hang up and listen. He said.
Oh man, so we're going off of the Bet on Us general
Oh, we're
topics.
yeah, we're going into just personal
Yeah.
stuff, I guess.
I'll tell you what, Jersey's got a way, man, of just bringing people back. I was down, not with Sabby, but I was in Florida going to the University of Tampa. My brother was at the U, and we all end up back here in Jersey. I guess it's kind of like a family thing. And you can leave Jersey, but it's going to grab you. It's going to take you back, and you're
Yeah,
going to pay high taxes. You're going to eat great food, and, you're going to spend a lot of money.
exactly. And it was a family thing for us too. That's why our family moved here. If my family was still up there, I'd probably be up there as well. It's just you gotta go where the family is, and it's a good thing you did stay because you met your beautiful wife there. So it was perfect.
Thank you. Yeah.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah,
so it all works out in the end. That's what Jersey
exactly.
does for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, we might be the armpit of the nation, but it's beautiful people in the armpit.
Not for long, man. They're coming. They're coming around. They're coming along there. They're coming
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. True.
Coming around.
So if we kind of stick with NFL, we move forward. We're in week 14, like we said, fantasy football time. A
Last
lot of
week of the
people
season.
you're fighting to get into the playoffs. A lot of guys out there, so we could certainly talk about that. People can chime in if you have fantasy football ideas or questions. Let us know.
For sure.
And what do you want to start with? Any specials you have for this
Yeah,
week?
so I actually have two games that I picked in the NFL along with the two college ones that we already talked about. We're going to start with me. It's the Browns at the Steelers. If you guys remember
Rookie one.
a couple weeks ago, the Steelers went into Cleveland, lost that game in the snow. Jameis Winston pulled rabbit out of his hat in that game. It was a great game, very visually aesthetic to watch from a snowing standpoint.
Yes, we love
Russell,
that.
look, I got to give Russell Wilson credit. I never thought I'd do this on this show, but Russell Wilson has been playing good ball for Pittsburgh. He's throwing the ball over the field. He's throwing more than just fade routes and check downs. He's throwing post routes, and he's fitting balls into seams where I didn't think he could fit it. Pause. But so I like the Steelers in this game. I think there's a little revenge factor out there. Even last week in the game against Denver, obviously the Browns kept it close. They kept it close. But what did Jameis do? He does what he always does. He turns the football over. He had 3 interceptions, 2 of them returned for touchdowns. Obviously the Broncos won that game by 9. I can see something similar here happening with Pittsburgh being a 6.5-point favorite. I can see a Pittsburgh blowout. I could also see a Pittsburgh cover, just at the end where something like that happens, where he throws a pick and they're deep in their own territory and they're trying to come back and they can't. So I like the Steelers to cover this game. I think the defense will show out. And I think Russell Wilson has another good game because the Browns' pass defense isn't.
They're playing this one in Pittsburgh.
This one's in Pittsburgh, yeah. So they
What
already
was the
played in
spread there? I know you said Steelers cover.
6.5. 6.5 is the
So
spread.
you want a touchdown plus win for the Steelers?
And I'm not buying the half a point down on this one because it's not a 3.5 type
Yep.
thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm keeping it at 6.5. And if it was
Okay.
at 7, we'd go down, but it's not. So we'll keep
Yeah.
it at 6.5. And then my last game is the Sunday night football game. Probably two teams that I probably don't like the most that I'm picking, but we're going to Sunday night football in Kansas City. They're playing the Chargers. They're hosting the Chargers. The Chiefs have probably been the sloppiest 11-1 team we've ever seen, possibly, and they've won in a variety of ways, playing good defense, timely offense, timely penalties, timely turnovers. They've won every single way you can imagine. We
Yeah.
can sit here and talk about them being lucky, which they are, but they find ways to win, right? They're
And one
playing.
thing just to hop in there that
Yeah,
because it just came to mind, and you see
yeah.
people looking at me like, why is he laughing? I saw a great meme the other day. I don't know if you saw the game on Thursday where the referee actually got injured.
Oh no.
He got,
Oh yeah. I
yeah,
think
he
I
got like
shared that one.
run over by
I
a
shared that
lineman
one.
coming
Yep.
off the field that just
Yeah.
like decked him, and his head hurt, his knee, everything was all messed up.
Uh huh.
And there's a picture of the referee like not able to get up, and it said Kansas City Chiefs plagued by injuries.
Yeah, it says that the injuries are piling up for the Chiefs. Yeah, exactly. And,
It's
and
great.
I mean, it is what it is, guys. I mean, last week the Black Friday game, that play should have been blown dead. In the rule book, it says it should have been blown dead, and but it's Kansas City, it wasn't. But anyway, with that being said, they are -4 points. They're favored by 4 against the Chargers. The Chargers are a good team. They play good defense. Only one game this season they've given up more than 17 points. That was against the Bengals. And that game they won on Sunday Night Football. So, with that being said, though, it's the Chiefs. I think they make a little bit of a statement, and I think they win this game. And it would help my Broncos too, because the Broncos are chasing the Chargers. Give me the Chiefs -4. I think they cover this game, and if they lose, I wouldn't be mad about it.
There you
Let's put
go.
it that way.
Kind of
So
have yourself a win-win there. Not
yeah,
bad.
exactly. So give me the Chiefs
And
-4 on Sunday Night Football.
I need Herbert, man, to start performing. My fantasy quarterback
Yeah, you
guy.
have no choice there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been carrying me in the past couple weeks. Has been moderate at best,
Yeah.
so or mediocre at best. But we need to get him going. All right, so you got the Steelers covering, you got the Chiefs covering.
Yep.
The specials.
Those are it. Yeah, along with Georgia money line and Oregon -3 tonight.
Yep. All right, and I had ASU covering -1,
Right.
Texas covering -2.5. Getting into tomorrow's specials, if you want to tail me, I got the Bills -3.5 against the Rams. Half point coming back into play. I'm saying forget the half point. I know you like the Rams, Sab, but I know you also love Josh Allen. I like the Bills here. I think that they can cover 3.5 against the Rams. If they really want to make this their year and go full speed into the playoffs, these are the sort of games they got to take over. So I'll take the Bills -3.5. I'm excited for that one. Another one out there, I was looking at the Eagles Panthers. The Eagles have been very profitable for me as late, which as a Cowboys fan is very weird, but I can't argue it. It's been working out well.
Yeah.
Saquon, his over under on rushing, I believe, is 112. Okay. Saquon's killing it, but over under just for rushing yards there, I just couldn't go with it. And that's what I've been doing really well with. Now, I do like the combo. Sometimes you do the rushing and the receiving. But if we just want to hone in on the receiving yards for Saquon, his over under is 16.5 yards. Okay. That's just a check down to Saquon and he breaks another 10 yards. I think Saquon can get over 16.5 receiving yards. So I'm taking the over there. And those are my two specials tomorrow.
Wow, we've switched roles here. Usually you're the spread guy. I'm the player prop guy, and we switched up. But no player props for me this week. But I like that too. I think the thing with Saquon is, and they're playing the Panthers, right? They're playing the Panthers at home. That's one of those games, man. It could get out of hand early, and they just say,
My only fear.
let's lighten the load, and not like, risk anything, and it's just one of those things. And they're 13.5 point favorites. That's another thing. That's a tough spread to take too.
Yep.
But and the Panthers have been playing better of late
in the
too.
back of my
They've been
mind.
playing better. Yeah.
They have. And those games, guys, are the ones that you got to be careful with. I mentioned, Carl Anthony Towns been red hot earlier this week, took him on an over, I think it was like 23 points. It's 23.5. He got to 23 points. And the Knicks almost got up by 40 points on, I think that was on Tuesday night. And you eventually take him out and say, we don't need him. That's come back to bite me a couple times this year. Hopefully not tomorrow with Saquon. And give me your pick 'em. Let's see what you got.
All right, so we're 110-53 on the season. After the slow start, we're coming along here. So we're gonna start in the 1 p.m. slate with the Vikings over the Gosh, I forgot who the Falcons. Kirk Cousins coming back to town against the Vikings. I like the Vikings here. The Falcons are kind of reeling. Kirk Cousins in his last 3 games has
Not
6
good.
picks and 0 touchdowns in his last 3 games. That is with the worst stretch of his career. So I don't see, and the Vikings have a great defense. So, and that's going to be a tough one going back there. The emotions are going to be running high. So I don't see him fixing that this week, at least enough to beat the Vikings, who again
No.
another team that has found ways to win all different ways.
And I'm a big Captain Kirk
Me
fan, but
too.
I
Me as
think they're
well.
nearing the end of the rope here, where they drafted a highly touted rookie, early draft pick.
Yeah.
We're getting there, I think, where Kirk's time could be nearing an end.
And I didn't think it would happen this early, 1 year in, but maybe
Yeah.
they knew what they were doing, and it was a just in case move, and maybe we'll see what happens. But I like the Vikings. I like the Eagles over the Panthers. That's an easy one. Like I said, in the special, Steelers over the Browns. Titans playing the Jags. My goodness, if anybody watches that game, I feel for you. Give me the Titans, I guess. The Bucs playing at home against the Raiders. The Bucs, by the way, will be in first place if they win this and the Falcons lose after being down 3 games 4 weeks ago. Not too bad. So Bucs are playing some good ball. Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback. Everybody needs to get off of Baker, especially some people that are watching this show right now. Give me the Saints to win. Forget who they're playing, but I picked the Saints.
Giants.
The Giants.
That's
Oh
why.
yeah,
That's
the
why you picked them.
Giants. Yeah. Well, because they're I had a feeling that it was somebody bad. So yeah, the Saints will win that game. They should. Dolphins over the Jets. Although I have a weird feeling about that one too. It's an AFC East battle, but the Jets are reeling as well. Give me the Dolphins. Cardinals, Seahawks. That's a tough one, too. I like the Cardinals at home. I think the NFC West is just going to come down to the last week of the season. I'm hoping it's the Rams. I put a small bet on the Rams and Bucs, parlayed them both to win their division. It was a nice little payout, too, so let's hope that happens. But give me the Cardinals over the Seahawks. I love the Rams, like I said, but the Bills are the Bills. So give me the Bills over the Rams. And then I think the Rams run the table after this week, looking at their schedule. So give me the Bills. The Niners against the Bears. The Niners have so many injuries, but the
Yeah.
Bears are still the Bears. So give me the Niners. You know they fired their coach, and it's one of those things like you get hyped for that first game with the new coach. I get it, but I think the Niners can outlast the Bears and keep their season at least a little bit alive. Although I know Niner fans, including Pat, say it's done. But give me the Niners. Guy got paid, says Mark about Cousins. Yeah, he did. $100 million guaranteed to play one terrible season. That's pretty
Yeah.
insane.
He belongs on the Cowboys with that type of scenario.
Exactly. Give me the Chiefs over the Chargers, like I said, and then Monday night is another one that's weird. The Bengals have played down to their competition, but I'm taking the Bengals just because I trust Joe Burrow more than Cooper Rush, and that's literally the only reason. But Joe Burrow has shown some. I mean, this guy's got the most touchdowns and the most yards in the NFL, I believe, for quarterbacks, and his team is 4-8. So I mean, obviously getting no help from the defense, and I don't see, but I think they'll get just enough help this week against Cooper Rush. Give me the Bengals on Monday night.
We have been kind of, I know sometimes I'm like, wow, we went in totally opposite directions, and then I read them and I'm like, what the heck? So we're kind of mirroring what we do a lot of these weeks. We only have 2 games we went in opposite directions. I'll tell you the ones that we share. I got the Vikings, Steelers, Eagles, Dolphins, Bucs, Saints, Titans. I'm going to differ on the Seahawks and Cardinals. I want to take the Seahawks there. This was a tough one. I didn't really know. You got Cardinals are a slight favorite in that game, but I'll take the Seahawks. I can't really give you a good reason why.
The NFC West. There's your reason. The NFC West has been nuts. You don't know. I think all 4 teams have been in first place at some point this year. So
yeah, and then you got the Bills, the Niners, the Chiefs. Chiefs could be a sneaky game if the Chargers come to play there, but give me the Chiefs. And then Monday night, I've been saying, don't go with your heart. Don't go with the Cowboys. I've been avoiding that. There's something a little weird there with the Cowboys getting a sniff of momentum and the Bengals just not like performing this year. You think they are, but then you look at the record. So Cowboys a big underdog. All right, plus 205 odds against the Bengals on Monday night. There's something there maybe with the Cowboys defense that I'm kind of liking. Rico Dowdle is not a terrible running back. All right. Everybody's been just making their running game the laughing stock.
Yeah.
The guy's not terrible. Okay.
No.
He can break off some nice runs. And then they're getting Ferguson back. I think that's a big help. CD's got to step it up. He had a number of dropped balls last week. I think he's going to be coming out really, really trying to redeem himself.
He had more drops than catches on Thanksgiving, actually.
Crazy.
3 drops, 2 catches, which was nuts. Boy,
Crazy.
what a difference! What a difference a game. what a difference a game against the Giants makes for you. I mean, you 2 weeks ago it was we don't have a running
No,
back
no, no,
now.
no.
No, I'm just no. Listen,
No,
go
just to
ahead.
be clear, so I was riding whoever was playing the Cowboys. All
Right.
right, I was taking the spread, winning, winning, winning. Then when I saw a spread was like 11.5 against the Commanders, I
Yeah.
said that's too rich for my blood.
Right.
And I just had a feeling, and then they beat the Commanders. So I'm going
Yeah.
more off of that than the Giants.
Okay. Understood. That's true.
But yeah,
I'll
this
give you
is a
that.
little kind of also willing
Yeah.
Dallas to redeem themselves.
But I mean, and this is the make or break week for you in your Cowboys season. If they win, all right, now you got even more momentum, and they're kind of drawing you back in just a little bit to maybe make that little run. And if they lose,
Yep.
then that's it. You're done.
Just pack it
So
up. I'm
this
here.
is the week where
I
it's
love Micah Parsons still talking like this team's going to the playoffs.
that guy needs to get off the microphone. I cannot.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, and I want to like him, and I just can't. I don't know what it is. He says they're a top 5 team, this and that. He did say the Broncos have the best defense in football, so I guess I gotta maybe agree a little bit on that one. But man, he's tough. He's a tough listen sometimes. Just go make
Yes.
plays, dude. Just go make plays.
He's on the Cowboys. The Cowboys is
That's
just
true.
toxic. It
That's true.
does something, the culture there.
That's very true. That's very
But
true.
that was quite a bit that we had here, guys. So any closing thoughts? Anything else?
No, man, it's a sit back and relax kind of week for me because Broncos have a bye. I couldn't bet Bo Nix is over on yards. He's hit it 6 straight weeks, by the way, so we'll be betting that next week. Spoiler alert. But yeah, and then fantasy is coming down to the wire. You're in a battle. In a win and you're in situation. I do believe. I
Hmm.
have absolutely no chance in my league unless I outscore people by 150 points, which isn't going to happen. So yeah, man, it's kind of a, and I'm in the playoffs in the other two, so it's a relaxing Sunday for me. We'll just hopefully hit these specials and maybe
There
hit
you
some
go.
bets. So
I
that's
like
pretty
it.
much it. Yeah,
I like it. Well, thank you guys. Some of you that were tuning in, firing us some
yeah,
questions that
appreciate that, guys.
spices things up.
Yep,
And we'll be back this week. Probably, I'm guessing Wednesday, whatever it might be. We will share that everywhere. Again, if you want to hop in live and just kind of put your own twist on the show, you can. But I'm BK. He's Sab. Feel free to tell us, let us know how you're doing, and we'll see you this week.
see you guys.